viewers, thank you for having us today. The first panel discussion of the PURA Student Ambassadors. My name is Sohna Meten, a student of Gambia Senior Secondary School and a PURA Student Ambassador. Before going forward with this discussion, I'll have my fellow panelists introduce themselves, starting from my extreme left.
Good day, everyone. My name is Pateba, PURA Student Ambassador from Gambia Methodist Academy.
Hello, everyone. My name is Munlamin Gasar from Youth High School, a PURA Student Ambassador.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mohammed Conte, a student from Gambia Senior Secondary School and a PURA Student Ambassador.
Good day, everyone. My name is Talasan Bijabi. I am a Petroleum Inspector at PURA.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sifu Samate. I'm a student of Gambia Methodist Academy in Bakau, and I'm also a PURA Student Ambassador. I'm very excited to be here.
Good day. My name is Mariam Bachili. I'm from the DCA department.
Thank you. PURA, a body that's responsible for regulating telecommunication, water, electricity, and transportation, and ensures these public utilities are provided with utmost efficiency, reliability, and fair. I know many must be wondering why we have young faces when we have experts doing this job. Well, we are part and parcel of PURA, and we play a very important role as student ambassadors of PURA. And we'll have Gassama tell us more about the concept of PURA Student Ambassadors. That's Gassama.
Yeah, hello, everyone. Once again, my name is Munlamin Gasar. I'm a PURA Student Ambassador from Usokar. Well, it's very pivotal, fundamental pivotal for that matter. PURA see it deemed that, it's very necessary that there is a gap between young generation and PURA itself, because young people of this generation are not engaged, in creating awareness. So PURA see it deemed that, to involve young generation, the youthful generation, onto their mandate, to create visibility of PURA, because some people out there, me, before I had an experience, before I even became a PURA Student Ambassador, that I hardly even, hear of PURA or other stuff. So you see, this student ambassador is very important to involve young people, in their mandate, creating awareness and visibility in the society.
Right, because, as people know it, the youthful generation is one of the most vibrant part of the population. That is us. We are easy to communicate with, and we have our ways of communicating to people, letting them understand stuff, except most especially the work that PURA is doing, that is protecting the rights of consumers of these GSM operators, telecommunication and stuff like that. So it is really important that we have been involved in this, and it's a great honor. So today's discussion is going to be mainly on petroleum sector, which is being regulated by PURA. And in petroleum sector, we talk about the gas bottles that are being used in our houses, petrol stations, and the fuels that they provide to people. And then we will have Samate to tell us more about petroleum.
For me, when I hear the word petroleum, what comes into my mind is it is a raw material for many industries, and it is very important because we use it everywhere. We use it at home. At the same time, we use it at work. So it is very important to regulate it. Thank you.
Yes, with that being said, we will have our expert here to tell us about how they regulate the petroleum sector, how they make sure that it is safe in our environment, because we have a lot of petrol stations in the Gambia nowadays. So how are you guys going about on making sure that it is safe for the environment and the people that are in those vicinities?
Thank you very much. It's very important that you want to make people aware of the importance of regulating petroleum. First, we have to understand that petroleum is a very, very, it's a product that is, very dangerous sometimes. We can use, if you can use the word, and also it's a very flammable liquid. So it's important we understand how to handle this, how these petroleum products. And that is why PURA is doing all its can to make sure that this, sector is regulated, foreign standards. What we do here, we're talking about having so many petrol stations, Yes, it may be right. But any station in this country, even before we start the construction, applications are made. The applications are reviewed. We have good for site screenings, to see whether this place or this site where they want to put this petrol station is suitable or not. Because we have to subject it to the laws, the regulations. So whatever any station that fails a particular regulation is not going to be given approval. So it's important for people to understand that wherever you see a petrol station, know that, there is, it has been subjected to a screening, and it must pass all the aspect of that particular regulation before we give you approval. And also when we give approval, to make sure that everything is done according to standards, we do what is called construction monitoring. From the first stage to the final stage, whatever you do, we must know, or we must make sure that it is in accordance with the set standards and regulations. So I don't think you need to worry much about the number of stations. And we're also trying to make sure that the safety aspect of it is being taken care of. That is why on a quarterly basis, we must do this, agency inspections. And during these inspections, one fundamental thing that we look at for is the safety of the general public, safety of the employees, and also safety of their investment. Because remember, PURA is not here just for the consumers, but also for the investors. Correct. If that investment is not safe, you will not have the product that you want. So we make sure that we balance between your needs as consumers and also the investment, protect their investment. So this is one aspect of what we do when it comes to the petroleum sector. Also, during HSC, we look out for potential hazards, that may be harmful to the workers and also, consumers coming to buy these petroleum products. But also, there is one advice that I want to give as a start to each and every person that visit this petroleum station. Look out for these, vital safety signs. So most of the time they're ignored. People don't, care about it. You just rush into the station anyhow, just get your product and go out. No. You have to look out for the signs. What is allowed in a particular petrol station and what is not allowed. We have to know it. First is for your own safety. PURA is here. Try to make, everybody safe. But we cannot follow each and every individual where they go to make sure that they're safe. So our duty is to make sure that they're aware of the hazards in these petrol stations and how they can prevent themselves instead of any emergency. Yes.
So I think important. Yes, on that topic, I would like to ask, when you go to petrol stations, like you said, those safety signs, okay? We have like a sign for not smoking, turn off your engine, and so on. Many people neglect this stuff, but really they don't know why. Like, why is it that it is necessary for people to turn off their engines if they're refueling like their car?
Thank you, Rod. That's a very, very important question. I expected a question like that. As we said, these petrol stations, they are a very, very flammable product, especially the petrol, So it's one of the Class A petroleum products, and it has this flash point of below 23 degrees, meaning it can easily catch fire. So remember, this vehicle, sometimes you see a vehicle into the station, and the exhaust pipe is just, having stacks. Yeah, it's possible. And also, the vehicle was in motion, So when something is in motion, it has what is called static charge, static electricity. I'll use a very typical example. When it is very cold and want to remove your clothes, like the polythene clothes or things stand on clothes, you think it is about to, ablaze, secondly, right? So it's because of that static electricity. So these vehicles in motion, that's what they come up with. So if you don't turn up that engine, it's very easy, especially if the area is very, there's vapor in the air, it's very easy to cause fire in the petrol station. So that is why we want people to turn off their vehicles whenever they are fuel. The same thing applies to your mobile phones.
Okay. Can I ask you another question? Yes, come. That is, my question is going to be about this thing, natural gas.
Mm.
What advice can you give people that are using natural gas in their homes?
Okay. About the natural gas, one advice that I can give them is that don't place it in a closed area. It's very, very important. all these, these products, they need a lot of ventilation. They must be ventilated. If you have a natural gas, that's why they come up with this system of having a pipe run from behind to your kitchens, so that where it is ventilated. Whenever it has a leakage, it will just disperse to the atmosphere and it will not be trapped in one place. So that's the most important thing that people should do. Another thing is when lighting it, you don't turn it on first, then strike the match. Never must you do that, because when you turn it on, the seconds you take to strike that match, the vapor must have, maybe we are almost engulfed with vapor. So you strike the match, it is everywhere. So that's why it's advisable strike the match, put it very close, and then turn. So these are tips that are very important for people to understand when using these products.
In that case, then I must have tried to set my house ablaze many times, because that's how I set up turn off the gas. I thank you, Jadama. And then my question about this petroleum side is, gas and petrols are not produced in the country; they are imported. So do PURA have these materials that can be used to check the quality of the petrol that is being brought into the country, like quality testing?
Thank you very much. That's also another important question. Many times I hear people complain about the quality of the petroleum products used in this country. We don't have a lab in the country where we can test these petroleum products. But what we do is, on a quarterly basis, every 3 months, we collect samples from the depots, from the petrol stations, all right, and send them to Dakar for quality testing. So when the results comes, we do the analysis and see if the product, the standard set, is the same product that is being brought into the country. Remember, we have a national standards for all these petroleum products, the Jet A1 that is used for the aeroplanes, the PMS, petrol and diesel. We have national standard. So every quarter, what we do is to collect samples from sample stations and send these samples to Dakar to check whether the certificate quality these people are sending actually correspond to what we have national.
Thank you very much.
And I don't know, how many fuel depots do we have in the country?
Right now we have only 2 fuel depots. There is Petroleum and GPS and other petroleum services.
So we import fuel, right? So how do you guys ensure that fuel is distributed equally among this fuel retail company? Because we have big companies and we also have small companies. How do you ensure that there's fairness in that?
Yes, thank you very much. That is a very typical business question. But what we know is it's a free competition area. Some of the players or some of these OMCs, they have They have license to import. Remember, PURA is with this license. So we have about 3 different ones. You have retail license, meaning you can only sell at these pump prices. We also have import and export license. You can import fuel and also the export. So if you want to be, and it's not, we are not limiting you, provided you have the requirement to be imported. We are not limiting anybody. If you are an OMC and you want to import fuel, there are standards that you must because there are requirements that you must fulfill before you are given the license. If you fulfill those requirements, we are not going to deny importation. So if you are not importing, you can equally buy from the depots and sell at the retail price. Yes.
Okay, I have another question, but it's for my auntie here.
Okay.
So, do you guys receive complaints from consumers about petroleum products?
Thank you for the question. Yes, we normally receive complaints from the consumers. Sometimes they call in or sometimes they walk in because we receive all email. It depends what that person prefers. Normally when they log a complaint, since we have a new system, that's the CMS system, and each department has a focal person, sometimes they normally bring their petrol, which is a mixed product. That's why it's always advisable for when the consumers are buying petrol to switch up their engines, like my colleague was talking about. Because sometimes if you don't switch off your engines and you mistakenly tell the pump attendant, oh, can you sell me gas oil and it's supposed to be petrol? And if you don't switch off your engine and then you move, it might cause a damage. That's why it's always advisable that when you're buying petrol or gas oil, switch off your engine so that by the time you realize that what's happening, they can try and move your car. Back to the question, sometimes they normally bring their petrols or the product. And what we do is in-house, we normally escalate the complaint to the Department of Petroleum. So they take charge from there while we're updating the consumer. What they normally do, they normally pick up the product and do their investigations. And then they get back to us.
Thank you. Okay, that having been said, because I mean, when you say PURA, is it safety first? Yeah, so you will see many petrol stations around the city sell eggs. I mean, so and you said you have side monitoring, and you have stakeholders do help you inside monitoring. So I mean, you see many petrol stations, like I said, there is a residential area. I mean, that's safe. Is that actually safe?
Yes, that is happening in the country. We have petrol stations within residential areas, but this is caused by two things. According to the regulations, the petrol station should be at least 50 meters from places of public assembly, like schools, churches, It used to be even residential areas, but there is some amendment in the regulation, and that is why, that's happened. The other thing is, you approve a site for a petrol station. If you have your 30 by 35 meter land that you want to, use as a petrol station, at a time when there was no residents around, we come and do our screening, and obviously we're going to say it's passed because it's not near this mosque, there's no church, there's no school, there's no public place of public assembly. We approve 2-3 years down the line, your neighbor wants to, transfer that, so a contract can count. So there we can actually know you have to move your petrol station. So there's the encouragement sometimes by people, but right now, as we are saying, that residence, bill has been changed. There is an amendment in that regulation. So we just need to adjust on the safety matters to make sure that the station has a third-party liability agreement, not liability insurance in case of emergency, and make sure that all the safety measures are in place, to ensure the safety of the people around these petrol stations.
Okay.
Yes.
And let the hand wake up. There's one around Antigua garage, like the petrol stations are opposite each other. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. Like, is that safe? Because sometimes like vehicles normally park there, or passengers, normally these taxi drivers and stuff like that. So people normally stand there for transportation and stuff. How safe do you think is it? Like?
Yeah. I think I know the area that you are talking about. But remember, it's also important for people to understand that PURA started regulating this industry when so many petrol stations were in existence, and we don't have the right to come and, because of the new regulation, now I have to demolish this petrol station. No, because they were in existence. In that case, what we do is, as I said earlier, just to improve the safety measures, to make sure that we are more strict on safety, But about this passengers passing, this is a very difficult thing for us to regulate or to deal with. If I tell you today, never stand here because it's not safe for you. You think you are going to spend just 5-10 minutes and go, so you don't care. You stand for 10 minutes and wait for a vehicle and go. Over time, people are overcrowded there. So our problem here is we are trying to make people understand that it's not safe to be overcrowded at the petrol station. But people think that, no, we are spending just 5-10 minutes and go, so nothing is going to happen to us. You don't know when there would be an accident. And if you are overcrowded there and there comes an emergency, you may not even know what to do. So our responsibility is to make sure that we improve on the safety standards at those petrol stations, and that we are doing by doing the spot checks.
Can I add to that one, Kajali? Normally, we know every year, which is part of our mandate, we have to do the customer care visit, which is once a year. Like he was explaining, and we have a part 2 as the 148 department for the safety of the consumers, and i.e. the petrol stations. So once a year, we normally draw a questionnaire, then we do a nationwide tour to different petrol stations, from Passe to Koina or Koina to Passe. So what we normally do, we have different categories of questionnaires that we have for them, that when we go to the petrol station, we normally observe, i.e. if they have the proper petrol stickers, i.e. petrol or gas oil, if their pumps are up to standards, if they have good toilet facilities, and if the fire extinguishers are in working order. Because if something happens before the fire service comes, they have to extinguish the fire. So we check all the different products that they have, not testing, but to see if they're in order for the safety of the consumers and the workers there. I.e., like you were saying, if they have the safety signs, i.e. switch off your engines, no smoking, switch off your mobile phones. If they don't have it, then we tick the box. And when we come in-house, we normally write and report for each petroleum sector, i.e. it can be petrol gas, it can be speed, it can be oryx, and then we send it to the different petrol companies for them to be able to see where they are lacking so that they can improve on the services that they are offering to the public for safety reasons. So every year we do that, which can help them, i.e. the companies, and help the consumers. And then we normally do sensitization, going to the radios or doing short clips on the TV to educate the consumers. Because some of them, they don't know, like Kujabi was saying. Some of them can see a sign, but they don't follow it. Maybe it's because of ignorance or they're lazy to do that. But it's good to sensitize them, and it normally works. And we're going to keep on doing it. I.e. it can be on social media, it can be on the radio, it can be on the TV, because there are different platforms that the consumers use. Or something like this, because i.e. we're talking, we're discussing, and when it's aired, the consumers will see it and they'll realize, oh, okay, this is very useful. So we normally do those kind of sensitizations and the customer care visits, which we did this year actually.
Yeah. How often will you receive questions or complaints on the quality of PURA?
Normally we receive complaints, it depends. It can be once a year, it can be twice a year, or maybe it can be every other month, which we normally do deal with, i.e. we have to escalate it to the relevant department, that's the Petroleum department, for them to be able to do their investigation and then get back to us. They will communicate with the consumer or the complaint.
Let me ask another question. My question is, like, sometimes when you visit these rural areas, you see people selling petrol. And it's not a station, obviously. So, and they sell petrol there. How does PURA regulate those people selling petrol in the rural areas that are not petrol stations?
Okay, that's another very good question. With regards to that, we have, some considerations. It's illegal, as you rightly said, and whosoever is found, we confiscate. We have a task force, and if you are found doing that, the first approach is to support you have a petrol station, or if not, everything is going to be confiscated. That's why we are very flexible when it comes to approving sites in the provinces. Sometimes we go for more than 10, 15 kilometers without a petrol station, and people are living there. Some of them, they have generators or they have machines powered by petrol. They need petrol. So if you don't sometimes be flexible and allow one person to be selling to these people, you go to every other compound, you find 20-liter gallons with petrol. And these people, they don't know how to safely keep these petroleum barrels. So sometimes it's wiser to have one person store it in one place and be disbursing to them than having each compound storing 10, 15, 20 gallons in their compound. So when there comes a disaster, the entire village will be in trouble. So we are not supporting, or we are not allowing them to actually continue doing that, but we support and make sure that you try to come up with a standard petrol station. So if you look at it, the distance between stations in the provinces, is very long. Imagine having to drive for about 4, 5, 6, 7, up to 8 kilometers before you get to a petrol station. So it's very difficult. It's really very difficult. So what we are trying to make sure that those people are supportive, or we are somehow flexible to make sure that they are able to bring their stations to standard. But otherwise, if you are not cooperative and you don't want to develop to the standards that we want in this country, you are going to be, we are going to do enforcement, and that is to confiscate the fuel, and possibly, any form of enforcement. Let me just say, just of that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kudiaro. Time is not on our side, so we will just have our customer have 1 or 2 words he has to say as his final word.
Yeah, thank you for giving me the honor. So, when you say PURA as an institution is here for the government, for the consumers. So it's very pivotal, for the government to bring this kind of institution, to actually regulate all these sectors, especially petroleum, because petroleum is something that is very harmful, especially when it can cause anything. So we thank PURA, to be there and serve as regulators to actually regulate all the sectors, for the safety of, all the consumers, producers, and the government.
Okay. So add on, what I would like to say is when you are using these petroleum products, please be careful, because as the expert rightly said, it is flammable. So it can even explode. So be careful when you are using it, and you follow all the guidance that are given by experts.
Thank you very much. So, Conte, do you have anything to add?
To buttress on what he said, PURA Student Ambassadors, it's a really good thing for us to create awareness first, because it's not most of us don't know about this. Some of us are aware of it, but not all. So it's a good thing that people should be aware of all this. So you should not just contact PURA anytime you have a problem. You just contact their service providers so that they will solve your problem before calling directly to PURA. So
yeah, and that's where our work begins as PURA Student Ambassadors. Yes, anytime that we see such issues happening, because not all of us are living in the same area, and we live in different areas, so it's on us to make sure that people are aware of the work that PURA is doing, especially the petroleum sector. So this is where our work begins. So as ambassadors, we are going to do a great job on making sure that people are informed in our societies and on the right way and on the right thing. So,
and please, if you see me anywhere, you can ask me anything.
Yes, the questions that were done.
Petroleum and other things, because I have been informed now.
And if they have any queries or they want to complain, like you said, they have to go to their service providers first, i.e. the petrol stations. If nothing is done, that's when they call the 148, which is a free toll number on any network.
Thank you very much. So with that being said, our code to remind everyone is 148. So anytime you have any concerns or complaints, just call the number 148. The number is very free. Even if you don't have credit on your phone, you can still call and reach us. And it's normal working hours. Monday to Thursday is from 8 to 4 p.m. and Friday is 8 to 12:30 p.m. So anytime you have issues, to remind you, call 148. It's very free. Thank you.